And as usual, you are expected to have your Bible, to have your notebook with you, and you must not just rely on the fact that you have the science with you. You need to ensure that you are jotting as much as you can. In terms of housekeeping, that is a few admin issues. I want to find out whether you got the slides for the lectures for last week, that's on neurons. Did you get the slides? Did you get the slides for last week's lectures?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now we are moving forward because we have already looked at we want to look at classification of the nervous system today. And it's nice for us to know this because many of the issues that we'll be talking about, the Gloria, mute your mind. Samuel today, mute your mind because it is distracting. Let every one of us mute our mics now. Samuel, Utibi, mute your mic now. Mute your mic. Everybody mute your mic. Everybody mute your mic. Gloria Temilade, do we mute your mic? Gloria Temilade, do we mute your mic? Don't disturb us so that we can move fast, so that we don't
We
keep too
get
many
it,
people
sir.
waiting. Okay, thank you. I want everybody to mute their mic. That is, you are not expected to speak now. When it's time to speak, I will call you on. So, God bless you. Just take it easy. I will be fatherly to you, and I will try to deliver as much as I can within the limit of the time. Okay. So, we are looking at classification of the nervous system. So, what we intend to do today will involve introduction or a short background. Then we look at varieties of ways by which other authors have classified the nervous system in terms of they are saying the same thing, but they are saying it using different languages and using different approaches. So it's nice for us to be aware of this. And of course, we'll now take a position on how to classify the nervous system, and we'll focus on the central nervous system today. And when we want to, because we cannot, within the limit of time, I'm not sure that we can cover both the CNS, that when I say CNS, I mean central nervous system, and the PNS and the peripheral nervous system. So in an attempt to classify the central nervous system, we'll focus a little more on the brain and the spinal cord. That is what we intend to do today. So the nervous system is made up of neurons and their supporting and protecting cells called neuroglia or glia. Some will say glia cells, some say neuroglia. That means neurons are supported by other specialized cells we call glial cells, which some people will call neuroglia. And there are various ways by which we classify the nervous system, which I just mentioned a few minutes ago, and you're still going to see this. But basically, it could be subdivided. That is when we're classifying the nervous system. There isn't any doubt in terms of whether we should classify it into 2, 4, or 5. Almost everybody agrees that we should classify the nervous system into the central nervous system and also the peripheral nervous system. Central because it is within the central axis of the body, center of the body, midline of the body. Peripheral in terms of its area of influence go beyond the central part of the body, so it means it goes into the periphery. But they are both integral. When I say integral, one working hand in hand with the other. In other words, one helping the other to do its work. That means the central nervous system cannot function without some element of dependence on the peripheral nervous system. So that is what we need to know. Now, I will want every one of you, I will give you just 2 minutes. Study this classification, this chart that you have there. Study this chart. And I want you to take your pencil now. I think I need to let you know there is no way you can do Psych 101 without your pencil and your notebook with you. So at all times, you must. Hello? I want to
Hello,
ensure
sir.
that nobody distracts us. Put off your microphone. Put off your microphone. Some are still distracting us with their microphones. If you cannot hear me, it's likely going to be a local problem. In other words, you alone have a problem, or maybe a very, very extremely few number of you will have that problem. So if you have the problem of not hearing, that may be peculiar to you. Don't for that reason slow us down because it will not allow us to cover the content. Maybe your network is bad, maybe you have challenges. Hold on till the network improves around you so that you can, log on properly and, get your audio back. But as it is, from what I'm seeing here, my microphone is very loud, very, very loud. And I want to believe a greater chunk of students in this class, they are following the lecture. So I have just said that if you get your pencil, if possible, get your ruler, get your paper, your notebook, and I said you should right away practice this illustrative chart that you have on your screen now. Try to see if you can quickly commit it to memory. In other words, on your own, try to see if you can sketch this out without needing to look at the chart. So I give you 2-3 minutes to commit this to heart. Of course, at the central part of it, we are classifying the nervous system. And when we are classifying the nervous system, we can classify the nervous system basically into two broad headings: the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. When we are classifying the central nervous system, we can subclassify the central nervous system into two, and the two are the brain and the spinal cord. When we are classifying the brain, we can now again subdivide the brain into the forebrain, into the midbrain, and the hindbrain. But there are other ways by which you can also still classify the brain. Okay? Some people would say the cerebrum, brainstem, and cerebellum. So it depends on what approach. That's why I said there are varieties of mechanisms, of ways by which people classify the nervous system. And when we're talking about classification of the spinal cord, we can now begin to talk about somatic and the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. If you are talking about somatic, under subclassification of the spinal cord, then that means you are talking about the manner by which, the spinal nerves supply dermatomes, supply specific parts of the body, the skin and other areas, they are supplied by the spinal cord. And there are other subclassifications anyway. But when we are talking about peripheral nervous system, we can talk about autonomic nervous system. We can also talk about somatic nervous system. Don't forget a moment ago when I was talking about the spinal cord. I said you can still classify it again. Also under autonomic, and you can have sympathetic and parasympathetic branching. There are viewpoints, there are literatures that will go that way. But there are literatures that would say when you are classifying the spinal cord, you talk about the 12 cranial nerves. And when we are talking about the 12 cranial nerves, we are talking about the O-O-T-T afajiba. O-O-T-T afajiba. O-O-O-T-T-A-F-A-G-V-A-H. That is the formula for understanding the subclassification of the 12 cranial nerves under the spinal cord. But apart from the 12 cranial nerves, we still have other subclassifications. That is, you can now begin to say, if you are talking about the spinal cord, are you talking about sensory? Are you talking about motor? Are you talking about mixed? So you can have the 12 cranial nerves still having subclassifications into whether sensory, whether mixed, whether motor. And there's always a song that I think at that point. And many times we sing it as se, mo, mo, mi, mo, mi, se, mi, mo, mo. Se means sensory. Mo means motor. Mi means mixed. So there are some nerves that are sensory. That is when we are subclassifying the spinal cord. There are some that are motor. When it says a nerve under the spinal cord is sensory, is somebody says the acronym correct? I'm saying aloud. When you're saying it's acronym correct, it's correct. So you have 12 cranial nerves, and you have se, mo, mi, mo, mi, se, mi, mo. That's why I sang that se, mo, mi, mo, mi, se, mi, mo. That means for the 12 cranial nerves, which are O, 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 T, T, A, F, A, G, V, A, H. Se, mo, mi, se, mi, mo. We'll come back to that. Okay? So you have peripheral nervous system classification as autonomic and somatic. Somatic means supplying various parts of the skin and a few other parts of the body. But that autonomic nervous system can be sympathetic nervous system or parasympathetic nervous system. Okay? Se, mo, mi, se, mi, mo. You know, that goes for the 12 cranial nerves. You're going to see that very soon. Just be very, 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 very attentive and be very, very calm. God will bless you. Now see O-O-O-T-T. T-T. I didn't say C-C. O-O-T-T. A-F-A-G-V-A-H. O-O-O-O. 3 O's. O-O-O. 3 O's. T-T. That means T and T. O-O-O-T-T. That means O-O-O-T-T. The next thing is afajiva. A-F-A. A-F-A. G-V-A-H. O-O-O-T-T. A-F. F-F. A-F-A. F for facial nerve. A-F-A. A-F-A. G-V-A-H. O-O-O-T-T. A-F-A. G-V-A-H. O-O-O-T-T. A-F-A. G-V. 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 G-V-A-H. O-O-O-T-T. G-V-A-H. O-O-O-T-T-A-F-A-G-V-A-H. Where O is olfactory, optic, oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, facial, auditory, glossopharyngeal, vagus, abducens, and hypoglossal. Clap for me now, wherever you are. Okay. Okay, thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, but you can see there is another way by which some others have also classified the nervous system. This may not be